everyone, today I'm sharing 4 savoury breakfast bowl recipes, and of course if you don't fancy these for breakfast, they work really well for brunches and lunches too. The first recipe is a chickpea scramble bowl, and for this you're going to want to first cook a portion of quinoa. I did half a cup of rinsed quinoa cooked in 1 cup of boiling water for around 20 minutes. Then in a separate skillet or griddle pan, heat up 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and in the meantime peel and grate a medium potato. Squeeze out as much of the liquid as you can and then add the potato to a large bowl with half a teaspoon of garlic granules, half a teaspoon of onion granules, and season it well with salt and black pepper. Mix it well and then sprinkle that into the hot griddle pan evenly and fry it off on both sides for around 10 minutes. Then back in the bowl you used for the potatoes, add in 1 tin of chickpeas, and to that add half a teaspoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of nutritional yeast, half a teaspoon of paprika, and season it with salt and black pepper. Mix it together well and then mash it up, but not until it's totally smooth. Transfer the cooked quinoa to the fried grated potato, mix it together and then leave it on a low heat just to keep warm. Add the chickpea scramble to the original quinoa pan, add in a splash of hot water and then just give it a good stir and cook it through until it's hot. Chop up a handful of kale and then add that to the scramble and again give it a good stir through. Serve up the potato and quinoa in a bowl, then add the chickpea scramble on top, and then back in the griddle pan, wilt a handful of spinach. This will take around a minute. Add the wilted spinach to the bowl and then I just drizzled on some hot sauce and topped it with some chopped spring onion and some fresh chives. I'm not the biggest fan of tofu, so this is a really great alternative to a tofu scramble. The texture I think is very similar and the seasonings just give it so much flavour. The quinoa and the fried grated potato works really well together, and all in all it's just a great bowl for a more savoury breakfast. The next recipe is a burrito bowl, and for this, first start by finely slicing up a red onion and then add 3/4 of that to a pan on a medium heat with a little olive oil. Fry it off until soft, then mince 2 cloves of garlic, then add that to the pan as well, along with half a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of chili powder and a teaspoon of mixed dried herbs. Then fry that off for around 5 minutes. Dice up a red pepper and then add that to the pan and cook that down until soft. Once it's cooked, move that to one side of the pan and then to the other add in 1 cup of rinsed brown rice and a tin of pinto beans. Stir it well and then add in 1 pint of vegetable stock and season it with salt and black pepper. Give it a good stir. Turn up the heat and bring it up to a boil for a few minutes. Then turn the heat back down, cover and simmer for around 20 minutes. In the meantime, slice up a tortilla wrap into triangles. These ones are by Be Free and they're their sweet potato wraps. And then also make up some guacamole by mashing up 1 avocado in a bowl. Add in 1 chopped tomato, the remaining chopped red onion, a handful of coriander, 1 minced clove of garlic, the juice of a lemon or a lime, and season it with some salt and black pepper and then mix it together well. At this point the rice should be cooked, so serve half of it up in a bowl and then line the tortilla triangles all the way around the inside of the bowl. Add the rest of the rice on top and then add the guacamole. I top mine with some dried chili flakes and also some chopped spring onion and some fresh coriander. I think the name for this one speaks for itself. It's basically a deconstructed burrito in a bowl, which I personally definitely would have for a breakfast as well as a lunch or even a dinner. It's so filling and it's just packed with so much goodness. The rice is so easy to make as it's just thrown in one pan and cooked all together. It's got a good bit of heat to it, but the fresh guacamole on top is really refreshing and again it's bursting with so many flavours. Miso quinoa bowl, and for this first preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, then peel and chop 1 sweet potato into cubes and trim and quarter 300 grams of mushrooms. Then to a large bowl add 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of miso paste, 1 teaspoon of garlic granules, whisk it all together, and then add a splash of hot water just to thin it down and whisk it again. Add in the sweet potato and mushrooms, coat them well in the paste, season with salt and black pepper, and then mix it well again. Transfer that over to an oven dish and then place it in the oven to roast for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, slice a white onion and add that to a pan or a wok with some olive oil and cook that down until soft. Add in a large handful of spinach and wilt that down before then adding in 1 cup of cooked quinoa. Heat that through and then remove the roasted miso mushrooms and sweet potato from the oven, and then add the quinoa to a bowl, add the miso vegetables on top, drizzle over some tahini and finish it with some chopped basil and parsley and some sesame seeds. The flavours that come from this bowl are amazing. Miso roasted mushrooms are my new favourite thing. They're just so incredible, and the sweet potato goes slightly caramelised from being roasted in it too. Then the tahini just brings everything together, as well as the fresh herbs on top. Again, it's another bowl that's just packed full of so much goodness. Last up is a sweet potato and kale bowl. For this, first boil a pan of water and add in 4 small sweet potatoes. Boil them until soft, around 15 minutes, and then transfer them over to a lined baking tray. At this point, preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius and then carefully smash the potatoes with the base of a mug. Drizzle over 1 tablespoon of olive oil, sprinkle on some onion granules and season them well with salt and black pepper. Place those in the oven to bake for around 25 minutes until they're crispy, and meanwhile mince a clove of garlic and add that to a pan with a little olive oil and fry it off for around a minute. Then add in a handful of kale, leave that to saute for around 10 minutes, and in the meantime make a salsa. For this, chop up 2 tomatoes, finely chop half a red onion and a bunch of coriander. Add that together in a mixing bowl, season it with salt and black pepper, and then mix it together well. Then make an avocado by adding 1 avocado to a blender with the juice of a lemon and some salt and black pepper, and blend it up until it's smooth. Remove the crispy smashed potatoes from the oven and add them to a bowl along with the garlicky kale. Add on the salsa, drizzle on the avocado and top it with some fresh coriander. Again, the sweet potatoes in this bowl go slightly caramelised, roasted in the oven, but with the skins left on, they're slightly crispy too. The garlicky kale is so delicious, and all of the flavours from the salsa work so well with everything else in this bowl, not to mention the avocado, which is one of my favourite dressings to make, and the lemon in it too just really gives everything a bit of a lift. I hope you enjoyed these 4 recipes. They will be written up in the description box below for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!